That drip shit, you know?
Hey YouTube, it's your host Taya J, and I'm back with another episode on The Glow Talk. And on today's episode, we have a very special guest. She is an author and screenplay writer by the name of Katrina. Hi Katrina, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having me.
I am good. We are so glad to have you. So Katrina, for the people who do not know you or are not familiar with who you are or what you do, will you please introduce yourself?
My name is Katrina Carrero. I am an author. I have a book out right now on Amazon. It's self-published called In a Minute. Mm-hmm. It's an urban short novel. And I'm actually in the process of rewriting that book into a screenplay. So hopefully my book will be a movie very soon.
Wow, that is so awesome. Yeah. Okay. You said the name of your book is In a Minute. Can you give us a little bit of insight on what the book is about?
In a Minute is about two rival rappers from the same city. One of them is more mainstream and the other one is underground.
Okay.
And it's one of their album release parties, and the other artist shows up, his rival, and basically things go downhill from there. My book is, I put it out 2 years ago, and I don't know if you ever heard of the rapper King Von.
Yes, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, King Von died, the way he died, he had a album release party that night, and one of his rival rapper, came and killed him that night in the after party. But it's crazy how I put my book out 2 years ago. I didn't even know who King Von was 2 years ago, and yeah, it's just nuts. And now I have some people investing in my book to actually make it a movie, and I just can't wait to see it on the big screen, or on Netflix, whatever. Or maybe Amazon Prime, I don't know.
Right.
I just can't wait.
Wow. What a coincidence that is what happens 2 years in the future from what you wrote your book about. It's almost like, I don't know. It's crazy,
It is.
It is. It's crazy.
I have a lot of other characters in that book. Most of my book is it's nonfiction. Either a lot of my characters are people who I know, or just things that a lot of things that happen in my book are things that have happened to me or somebody that is close to me. So I love the book. Everybody who who's read it that has given me their feedback so far have said they loved it. This person, he just wants to grab my book up and make it a movie, so I know it's good. Wow. Not to toot my own horn here.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, that's huge, and I haven't had a chance to read it. I'm definitely going to look into reading it for sure. And as soon as it comes out on Netflix, I will be watching and giving feedback, because I'm always on Netflix.
Yes. This interview is gonna go viral once my movie is out.
Yes, definitely. Manifesting it right now.
I also I have a series of children's books coming out. They're very controversial, all of them. The first one should be out in the first week of March.
Okay.
And it's called Alexis' Sleepover. Alexis is a girl, but she was born a boy, Alex. And it's basically for the LGBTQIA community.
Okay.
A lot of the topics that I speak about in my children's series are very controversial. I have a book called Private Parts that's going to come out. It's about molestation. My audience is children. for my next, for this series of books.
Mm-hmm.
I have a book, I think I'm going to name it Bear Arms, about bringing guns to school, things that we should have been speaking to our kids about, that maybe we haven't, we don't know how to, you know what I mean? Hopefully my books can help bring conversation to these topics, So yeah, I'm excited about that. And I think that's gonna be it as far as me writing any more books. I think I'm gonna stick with screenplays because I love it. I think that's my passion. I love it.
That is awesome. And the fact that you found your passion through writing books is even better. Like, it makes the whole process even better. You spoke on In a Minute. You talked about that it was basically about two rival rappers. What was the inspiration behind even sitting down and writing this book?
My sister, Liza, it was crazy. I didn't even think I would ever be an author, but she just called me and said, "Do you think you would ever be able to write a book?" And I said, "Oh yeah." My sister actually has right now on Amazon some like pamphlets, I think booklets that she sells, different topics about like how to go on how single mom's guide to go on a vacation, $600 or less, and like just different topics that she has. I don't really read her stuff, but she's the one that just gave me actually inspiration to write. Just gave me an idea. And as far as the actual story, like I said, a lot of characters are people that I know, people that I know who rap. There's characters in there that all come together at the end of the book. But throughout the book, the characters are based on people that I know. There's a cab driver in the movie. I was a cab driver for about 5 years of my life. So there's crazy stories about, the cab in there. I've always been around a lot of different people. In my book, there are drug dealers, club promoters, rappers, goody two-shoe girls. And obviously, there's prostitutes in the book. There's it's a mix of a lot of different people that I've been around, throughout my life. So I kind of try, and everyone who is in my story, I respectfully asked them, if I could use their story.
Right.
And, and they all love it so far. So, and as far as just finishing that book, I started the book 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, and just put it out 2 years ago. So I've been sitting on that book and working on it for so long. There were some times where I just stopped writing, just due to things that were going on in my life, or shit happens.
Right.
And then I'd get right back to it, and I'm like, I have to put this out. I have to put this out. I'm glad that I put it out when I did 2 years ago. I can't wait to put out this series of children's books. I think that, I just kind of spoke about it on Twitter here and there, and people from the LGBTQIA community, they like ran with it. They're like, "Oh my God, this book needs to be out." I'm like, wow. So I know that I'm gonna have their support for that book,
right?
And hopefully, like I said, it brings, awareness to these topics. My book, Alexis's Sleepover, I know a kid who was born a girl and feels like a boy. And I interviewed him. So I'm going to dedicate that book to him. And for my book about molestation, I'm also interviewing a child who got molested. And I'm going to dedicate book to that child.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my book that's out right now, that's going to be a movie in the near future. You know, there's so many characters in there, and a lot of these people, some people I'm just using their name, but a lot of these people I'm using their story, and these are true things that's happened to people in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yes, definitely. I personally, I'm manifesting it. Everybody will enjoy that movie. Everybody will enjoy the next series of books you put out. It will be amazing. Yo, no problem, no problem. You stated that with the book in a minute, you used personal people that you knew, and you even used yourself in the book as well. Would you say that it made it easier to actually sit down and write the book doing it that way?
It sure did. It was easy because I didn't have to sit and think of ideas. Mm-hmm. What do I write about? It was more like, this needs to be said. This needs to be told. That's a crazy story. Oh my gosh, let me say, let me put this on paper. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it does make it easier. It really does. Mm-hmm. The hard part to me right now is rewriting it into a screenplay. It's tricky. This is my first time doing it. I am doing so much research, just taking all these courses online for screenplay writing. But I love it. And I know it'll be easier next time for my next movie, for my next screenplay. It's gonna be easier for me because I'm going to just write something so incredible off the top of my dome, instead of like I'm doing right now. I have to look at my book and then put it to a screenplay and into a script. So it'll definitely be easier my next script. But yeah, that's a little challenge right now, but I'm definitely I'm gonna persevere.
Yes, definitely. You talked about how you interviewed different children to create these children books that are about to get ready to be released. How did those interviews come about?
Well, I knew the topics that I wanted to speak about already, so I have the outline of the different books I'm gonna put out. After I did sit there and write about these topics that I had to research myself because I'm not part of that community.
Right.
So, and then when I saw these things happening around me, my best friend's child is going through something that I'm writing about. I'm like, why not? And I saw the struggle that he has been through since his transition. And I just sat down. I'm like, you know what? Let me see what I can get out of him.
Right.
And I'm like, it just asked him, what do you want people, adults, to know? Or well, what stigmas, or not stigmas, but I can't find a word right now. I basically asked the kid, what do you want as a trans child? What do you want adults to know about the trans community? And the things that he told me, which, look out for my children's book, Alexis' Sleepover, coming soon. It's gonna be in there. But yeah, the things he told me, man, it's just it's so sad that a lot of kids, they don't have anybody to speak to. A lot of kids are going through this and they don't have anybody to speak to or to understand them. And hopefully this book, not only it is aimed, and my audience is children, but hopefully it helps adults also. We'll see.
With your children's series, what are you expecting for children to take away from the book?
I am hoping that children will read my book, Alexis's Sleepover, and if they are going through something inside that they can't speak about with anyone, hopefully that book, you know, maybe gives them some confidence to speak to adults around them about how they're feeling and what's going on inside of them. I also am hoping with Alexis Sleepover that it helps other kids that are not in the community to accept children who are in the community. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm hoping that that it just opens children's eyes and people, not only people but children can stop. You know, a lot of these kids that are going through things like this, they get bullied. They, you know, they're going through I mean, people, we don't even know the half. We'll never know.
Right, exactly.
But hopefully with my book, it will, it'll stop that. I don't even, I'm sorry, I don't know the words, but.
No, you're fine.
Hopefully with my book, it'll teach kids that, you know, we're all different and it really doesn't matter. It really, as long as you're a good person and as long as you're living your truth, you know what I mean? Everyone is different. And that's the great part about life, you know? Right,
exactly. And I'm really at a loss for words because for you to even consider, you know, writing a book related to children, for them to be able to open up, tell their stories, and know, you know, you're not going to be judged. It's okay. You know, don't feel like you have to hold it all in, let it out. It's just, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, it's just wow. Like, it's absolutely amazing to me because, like you said, it is a lot of people who are judgmental and they go through things that we don't have any idea about because we're not a part of that community. So just to know that they have somebody is so important, and they're going to be very thankful for you, definitely. So
thank you.
I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. Another thing with my book called Private Parts, it's about molestation. I'm hoping that reading that book, when children do read that book and children who are or have been through something like that, I'm hoping that my book helps them, because a lot of children who have been molested, they don't speak about it, they keep it inside. I'm hoping that maybe in a library, a kid will see my book and reads it and says, hold on, something isn't right. You know what I mean? Some kids actually think that that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
With my book, Private Parts, I'm hoping that, you know, it just helps children, you know, say, hold on, this is my space, learn their space.
Right.
And also be able to speak about what happened to them to adults, especially because kids could go around telling their friends what happened to them, what their uncle did to them, what this happened, you know, whoever did to them.
Right.
But if you don't tell an adult that's going to help you out, then it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're exactly right. You are. And your whole entire idea behind Private Parts is so important, and it's just amazing. Like, it's just as amazing as Alexis's Sleepover. You know, they really play hand in hand with the amazement. And, you know, you spoke about them being able to go and tell an adult. I do have a follow-up to that. Will there be a portion in the book for children who have been molested, who have went and told an adult and they were not believed?
Wow. That is a nice addition.
Yeah.
I do have in the end of that book a hotline number that I put at the end for children. But that right there is something so different, and that opens up a whole nother level of probably a whole nother platform that we could all have and open up just by you saying that. Because now that I'm thinking about it, there should be another platform for them. A child should read my book and say, hey, you know, I did tell somebody and it didn't work. You know, they didn't do anything. Or I did tell somebody and they didn't believe me. So maybe toward the end of the book, I can put, I can maybe have a website or somewhere where these children can go and tell their story. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
That really does.
Yeah. Hopefully I didn't make you change your whole entire
no,
situation.
That's great.
not what I was trying to do at all.
No, that is so great, because it's like some kids feel like they don't have a voice. Exactly. Especially when you already tried to tell and no one did anything about it.
Right.
So if I could give those kids a voice, you know, after reading my book and maybe directing them, like I said, to maybe a certain website, or maybe, you know, I've always wanted to write a children's book for children, written by children. Like I wanted to publish a book of children's stories, respectfully, in one whole book, and you know, and at the end of each story it would have the child's name. So it'll be like a book for kids by kids, you know what I mean? So that maybe that'll be a great platform. Yeah, for, you know, that would be awesome. Kids could write in their stories and I could publish them, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? Anything, you know, like I think it's a great idea.
Yes. Look, y'all, on the Glow Talk, we are getting exclusive drops. We are getting exclusive ideas. I'm
listen, this is the future, baby.
Yes, manifestation is real. We spoke about the screenplay that is coming with the book in a minute. And with that whole entire process, how has this process been for you?
To be honest, it's going so quickly for me. I can't even believe it myself. Because when I did put my book out 2 years ago, you know, one of the investors was just like, I'm going to make this a movie. And he, like, I guess he thought that I thought he was joking. I believed him, but we hadn't spoken. And all of a sudden in December, he's like, where's your book at? You know, I have somebody who really, you know, wants to work on this with me. And I've been speaking to him about your book for a year. You know, where do I find it at? And they just ordered like 6 of my books.
Wow.
You know, extra books. Yes. I'm just so excited. They wanted to pay somebody to turn it into a screenplay, but I'm like, let me do this. I could do this, you know?
Right.
And like I said, well, I don't know if I didn't say, but I'm crossing my fingers that my casting call is going to be advertised on a popular podcast in New York City. Very popular. I don't want to drop the names right now, but Everybody stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram, Love Heals Trina. And I will post when the casting call is. So anybody who wants to come out, showcase their music in my movie also, and act and be a part of, you know, the whole set.
Yes, yes. You guys heard it here first. An official casting call is coming. It will be announced on a huge platform in New York. So look, y'all make sure y'all get over there and y'all follow Miss Katrina on Instagram so you guys stay updated with all of the information regarding the casting call in the movie. Speaking of everything that you are doing, from the book in a minute, turning that into a screenplay, to the upcoming children's book series that is coming out here very soon, what would you say is your inspiration to keep going with everything you have going
on? A big inspiration is definitely my children. Another inspiration is money. The more content you have, I mean, it's true. The more content you have, and the more, you know, the more product you have, then and if the product is a good product,
right,
you know, you can make some bank off that. So I love the money. I definitely, I have a couple friends that I look up to, that I see them, you know, coming from the bottom. Shout out to my boy KB the Don, who his name is KB. He's a rapper.
Okay.
And he, like, I've watched him slowly progress and just seen him, you know, making regular videos to now rubbing, you know, shoulders with stars. And I just love to see that. I love to see, you know, people flourish, you know. So a lot of people that, you know, I try to associate myself with, they're the ones that give me inspiration. You know, people around me, friends, and definitely.
Okay. You just spoke about that, your children. You spoke about a good friend of yours, KB, who was an inspiration to you, and, you know, just other things that are inspiring to you. Would you say that, answering the question, who is your inspiration, would you say that those would be the answers to that question, or is it someone else?
I would actually say I often think about my grandmother, who was a doctor. She passed away many moons ago. She was just knowing that how smart she was. She used to, like, she was a go-getter. She, you know, she loved to go to school. She had like 3 different, you know, degrees. I've always wanted to kind of follow in her footsteps. I have an associate's degree. I always wanted to go back to school and kind of finish, like, do what my grandmother did. But she's more of like an inspiration to me. But as far as my kids and friends and people around me, they inspire me every day.
Yes, that is so great. That is awesome. Well, Miss Katrina, we are entering into the last 2 questions of the evening. With that being said, if you could give one piece of advice to anyone who is considering starting to write a book, who may be thinking about turning a book into a screenplay, who may be thinking about, you know, targeting children for a certain project, or just in life in general, what is one piece of advice you would give them?
I would say start. Just start now. You know, write something down now. You can't be a writer if you don't write. You understand? You cannot win a marathon if you don't run, you know?
Hey, yes.
So you have to just start. It doesn't matter how, like, it doesn't matter if you don't know how you're going to do it. It doesn't matter, you know, if things come along the way that might want to stop you from time to time, but you got to keep going and just start. Like I said, just start. Right. And no matter what you want to do, just start it. If you want, you know, if you want to be a runner, run. Run around the block. You're a runner. Write something down on a piece of paper. You're an author. You're a writer. You know what I mean? You have to do it. Just do it. Like Nike.
Yes, that is great, great advice. Guys, I hope you know, got something out of that advice, because I definitely did. Just start. Just start.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up the interview, where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, love_heals_Trina. You can find me on Clubhouse at Yes I'm Funny.
Okay.
You can find me on Twitter at Get to the Checks, or you can just look at my links from you could just look at my links from IG. They have all the links everywhere. Okay. And then I have a publishing page, KVC Online Publishing, on IG also.
Yes. Yes. Well, everyone, make sure you guys please go and tap in with Miss Katrina, and make sure you guys go and buy her book In a Minute, and make sure you guys are on the lookout for the screenplay that is coming very, very soon to a Netflix account, Amazon Prime account, TV screen period near you. Also, make sure you guys are on the lookout for the casting call that is coming very soon. Also, the children's book series that is coming soon as well. Guys, yes. And I hope you all took something amazing from this interview just by hearing Ms. Katrina speak and hearing her describe everything that she has going on, because that's what it's about here on the Glow Talk, taking something away from it and applying it to your everyday life. With that being said, I want to thank you, Ms. Katrina, for coming through to the Glow Talk today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And to everyone out there, I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's episode on the Glow Talk, where we are glowing and growing. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
You are so welcome. Have a great one.
You too.